Today we're going to look at asset management. What's an asset? Typically, or basically, an asset is something that you own that has value. So if you own property, it's asset, right?
Yes.
If you have people that work for you, are they also assets?
Yes, they can be assets and they can be liabilities.
People that work for you. Okay, so
But they're supposed to be assets.
they're supposed to be assets now, isn't it? So yes, sometimes it's an anomalous situation that you now have people that work for you as a liability, right? They're supposed to be assets because when you engage people to work for you, you're actually acquiring their knowledge, their experience, their physical strength, isn't it? Together, that is an asset. Okay, and there's a difference between the people you have and the people he has in his organization, right? If you acquire people who can't think very well, who are not very experienced, you'll be paying low, but in terms of value, you'll not be getting as much value as someone else who is paying for experienced guys who are knowledgeable, who can study, and who can make decisions, right? So when you say anything of value or valuable that the organization owns, that the organization benefits from, has use of, and generates income from. In summary, a resource with economic value owned with the expectation that it will provide what? Future benefits. That's an asset. So that's the broadest sense of definition of what an asset is. Okay? And this applies to virtually all professions. Okay? So if you're an accountant, you will think of it in terms of cash or convertible resources that can be converted to cash, right? So you talk about current, non-current, fixed, and all kinds of assets. What if you are in other professions? For example, you are in real estate. What would be an asset to a real estate manager? Property, isn't it? Yeah. Will be landed property will be an asset. Plants, yeah.
Tangible and intangible.
Exactly. Mostly for a real estate, it's mostly tangible. It's mostly that high rise there. We own that estate. We own that manufacturing plant. We own that street. We own that, we own that lagoon and that pond. That's what they call an asset, right? If you were a HRO manager, what would be your asset? The human beings that you want? Yes. So we hear things like we have 5 staff with PhDs. We have 3 certified facility managers on our staff payroll, isn't it? We have 200 engineers working for us. Yeah? Well, yeah, you can qualify it, but you can describe your assets based on the people, because you are describing the people, okay? Their qualifications, their experience, their numbers, all of them adds up as your assets. 5 major factors that make the difference between asset management and facility management. Okay, we talked about the types of assets that are managed. We've just gone through some. Facility management does not see the same thing that an accountant sees as assets. Even a real estate or property manager sees a different thing as assets. I'll give you an example. If you're a real estate manager, this campus will be an asset. The state government secretariat in Ikeja will be an asset. The Lekki Palms Mall will be an asset. If you're a facility manager, what will be your assets? If you are managing this campus, the Lagos State Secretariat, and the Lekki Palms. What would be your assets?
The buildings and the secretary management and the one that you talk about it, and also the people that occupy it.
Okay.
And also the environment.
Yes.
Those that work with you in ensuring good services are being provided
Yeah.
will also be an asset.
Now that's where we need to come close. People are only assets to HRO managers.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
The effect.
No. Just like money, or anything close to money, or anything that can be converted to money, are only assets to accounts and finance people, not to FM.
Okay. But what of a situation where FM also serve as employer of labor?
It's fine. But the FM will count the physical property, the tables, the chairs, the wall, the roof, the engine, the generators, the ACs, to us. That is assets. While the property manager, real estate manager is counting site 1, site 2, site 3 as assets, we are saying I have 500 assets in site 1, I have 1,000 assets in site 2, I have 3,000 assets in site 3.
Including all the ACs and co.
The tools inside the building are our own assets,
Not the building.
not the building itself,
Not the building itself.
not the site. So when you say, okay, take for example, I'm saying I have this campus as an asset for a real estate man, right?
Yeah.
But for a facility manager, I'll have each building labeled one by one. I'll have all the assets inside the building labeled one by one. So the building and the assets in it will be, and the items in it will be an asset to me, right? So the building, yes, this is HRDC building, it's an asset to a facility manager. But this campus, this property called Newland Main Campus is not an asset to a facility manager. It's a planner, a real estate manager, someone at a higher level that sees these as one. Somebody will come up and say, what is the value of that campus? How many square meters is the land mass of that campus? Are you getting what I'm saying? So those kind of high level questions are not the things we deal with in facility management. We deal with how long is the road from the gates to the first roundabout, isn't it? To us, this street will be an asset, this building will be an asset, the street lamps will be an asset, the generators will be an asset. All of the things that make up this campus will be what? Assets to us. So what means an asset? The type, the purpose, the life cycle, the organizational goals of the assets owner and investor, and the assigned scope of operation. So these are just a way of thinking about assets from one profession to another profession. And I've given you what FMs consider as what? As assets. Okay. Differences in the scope of application apply to both core and support business processes, while FM is focused on what? Supports business. So if you take the guys who are managing the plants, say Unilever, they have production crews, people that manage the production plants, isn't it? The guys that manage that production plant, to them, they are managing the assets of that factory. Okay? We, who are facility managers, do we manage the same plants? We don't manage the same plant. We provide support service to them. The generator that is outside, that will use to generate power that we send to them with which they do their job, will that one form part of our assets?
Yes.
Of course. So even within the same organization, we will find two types of assets: the core business assets and the support function assets. Support function assets are the ones that we facility managers, if I'm managing an oil platform where oil is being drilled, you see those rigging equipment, the wells, those massive pumps for pumping crude oil, they're not in an FM assets register. They will have another asset management team or engineering maintenance team who has those assets as their own what? Core business assets. But when they finish working, they will go somewhere to go and sleep, right? There will be buildings, there will be beds, there will be air conditioners. They will go somewhere to go and eat. I'll have cooking equipment and all of that. They'll have somewhere to go and play on weekend. A golf course, a swimming pool, right? Those ones are facility management what? Assets. You're still confused? Points, toilets, kitchen, resting areas, accommodation, security houses, firefighting equipment, all of those will be part of your business. Because you are doing what? You are focused on support of the business. Okay? So even though we provide asset management for the things we have in our asset register, those involved in the core business provide asset management for the core business.
Mr. Oli just had a question.
Yes.
Should I unmute him?
Unmute him. Let's hear you. Welcome. All right, Joseph, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We're with you.
Yes, sir. You were saying about the difference between assets and asset management and financial management. So that means not every asset owned by an organization is going to be under the jurisdiction of the FM.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. So the guys in finance and accounts are managing financial assets, which has to do with what? Money. FMs don't manage financial assets. The guys in HR are managing human capital assets, isn't it? Which is the people, their skills, their experiences in that organization. Okay? The guys in the core business, in production, for example, are handling asset management of the core production equipment. That's not under FM management. FM provides support services for the core business. So whatever assets that we provide for the core business to function becomes the asset of facility management. So we manage the building, from the roof to the environmental, to the walls, to the ceiling, to the light we provide, to the generator for providing the light, to the ventilation we provide, everything that makes that environment conducive for the core business to function. Every asset in that area is facility management asset. So when we're talking about facility management assets, we are looking at asset management of the support function, not the core business. Okay?
So in this regard now, can we say this laptop, is it a support mechanism, or really is part of the core? Because it's actually aiding the training.
Yes.
But can we categorize it as a support or a core part of the training?
Very good, very good. So if you are running an organization, you can have this laptop available for security man who is booking people in, isn't it?
Yes.
Another one is hooked up to the plant doing quality assurance, scanning products as they pass. They are not in the same department, they are not in the same category. This one is a support function asset. This one is what? A core business asset. This one will be under asset management. This one will be under facility management. So if we use the laptop example, some organizations have an IT department that supports both the core and the support function. So they will now move management of facility of assets. They now have IT assets separately. And for many organizations, IT assets will be seen as a core part of the core function of the organization. For example, you cannot expect IT assets in a bank to be a support function. Are you getting what I'm saying? So for some organization, IT will be in the core of the core. You know what I'm saying? So the core business will on its own provide some support to the support function. If a FM needs a laptop, it needs internet, the core business through the IT department will be giving you a laptop which they will maintain as part of the core business, right? But you will be providing them light and cleaning and tea and coffee. So the same IT guy who is doing the core business asset management, when he gets to to put on a coffee machine, that coffee machine is not a core business asset. It is the FM that provides a coffee machine, a water dispenser for drinking water. It's the FM that provides that, because his job is a core function and you are the support services to ensure that he can function well. Are we getting this? Yeah. Sometimes I've seen situations where an FM is assigned to an airport and then it starts rubbing shoulders with the engineers about maintenance and all that, start dragging avionics equipment and trying to go to the hangars and do things. They don't even want you around there. It's not your business at all. You're in the airport, manage those reception areas, those ticketing areas, those baggage handling areas, those all the areas where it's away from the aeroplane.
The runway is not part.
It's not at all. Exactly. Now you are getting it. You understand? The runway, the control tower, the aeroplanes themselves, maintenance of those equipment that communicate with the planes and all that, they are pure avionics. That's professionals in the aviation industry. That differentiation must be clear. The reason the airport exists is to receive planes and fly planes, isn't it? That's the core business. Ensure that people are in the queue, they are attended to on time, that they are cooled, they are not too hot when they're in the airport, making sure there's a TV that shows them CMO while they're waiting, make sure that there's some tea coffee service where they can buy convenient stuff and shops and all of that, are all support to that flying and landing operation. The flying and landing operation is core, it's not facility management.
The generator in that aspect.
We do facility management, yes. So utilities normally, because we provide the building plus all the support services to make the building function.
Tosin has a question.
Yes.
Tosin, go ahead.
Go ahead with your question. Tosin, I will see you. We're waiting for you to talk. Okay, so when it's ready. So basically is the same techniques, the same tools, the same technology that we use to manage assets in facility management is what those in the core business will also be applying. Basically the same thing. For example, if you spend money on your assets, you want to get return on investment, isn't it? You want to do everything at best value, get the lowest cost for the specification, isn't it? You want to be able to predict when an asset will be due for replacement and have a plan for replacing it. You want to have a capital budget for repairs and renovations on an ongoing basis. You want to have critical spare parts for ensuring that replacements are done or repairs are done and things don't break down, isn't it? At the end of the day, the same requirement, the same objective that we are trying to achieve with our own type of assets that they are trying to achieve with their own type of assets. Okay? And that's why in some organizations, especially for those of us who are engineers and you're in an organization, one time you're working in FM, the next minute you are no longer FM. You must know the difference. You must know when there's a transfer, they've transferred you from the support function to the core business, right? You must know that when that switch happens. And if you build your career along facility management very well, the kind of skills you have gained, especially on the management side, which is very highly applicable in facility management, your organization will begin to notice and recognize you as an expert in the FM space, and they will tend to grow you in that area. Many people are FMs. Because they've not identified with FM, they keep insisting we are maintenance engineers, we are machine room operator, and they're actually doing facility management, but they have not related themselves. They've not aligned themselves with the profession of facility management. So you can see them drifting from core business out and in. And many organizations don't even know the difference. They just ask you what mechanical engineering. You say yes, okay, today you're in generator room. Tomorrow you're handling HVAC. The next day you're on the plant. You're the shop controller, you QAQC, you're according to them. They say it's quality assurance, quality control. Have I asked you that question before here? Why do you have QAQC together as one person? I've not asked that question. Okay, they say you're QAQC. QA is different from QC.
Yes.
And one person will be carrying it to us as his title. I'm QAQC. Right? So let's try and understand some of those concepts and the similarities. Okay, now in facility management, when we're not looking at the things that are within the facility, the building and lower hierarchy to the building, we also have this confusion that normally happens. What's the difference between assets and inventory? Somebody will say, oh, I have my asset register. You now start seeing things like 20 cartridges of, and then so and so toner, and then so and so toilet tissue and uniform. Now you have ACs, you have building components, you now have uniform and safety shoes and bags of detergent and stuff. At that point, you are beginning to making a mistake. Assets are items of value that you want to track closely. Items of value that you want to track closely. Examples are given here. Inventory are used once or last only a short time and also referred to as what? Consumables or materials. So if I stock oil to service my generator, filters, those things will not be assets. Why? Exactly. I use them. So I manage those ones under this heading called what? Inventory. Now, if you go to many organizations, you will find that they have done their asset register and call it asset inventory. You understand? Asset inventory. Now, in that same organization, there is a store where there are consumables, there are materials, and what would you call that store?
Inventory of stock.
Inventory of stock, right? So inventory. You understand? Just for simplicity, you call your assets an asset register, right? And then your stock as what? Inventory or inventory of stock, whatever you want to call it. So that you separate disposable, consumable items. I can buy batteries. You understand? And I put it in the store. I expect to use it one day and throw it away, isn't it?
Yes.
But the equipment that the battery will go into, I want to track that equipment. I want to be sure where it's located. I want to be sure of how it's used. I want to be sure that it's giving me value. I want to be sure that for the number of years I expect to have it, that it is still working. That's the difference. So I'm tracking assets. I'm recording inventory. I don't need to track inventory.
Okay, sir. In a situation, let's take this example.
Yeah.
This socket
Yes.
that we have the laptop plug.
Yes.
And this thing may get burnt one day or get damaged.
Yes.
And I have another one inside store.
Yes.
So how do we categorize it?
Very good. This one is an asset. That one is stored is an inventory. I like that classic example. You follow that example?
Yes.
It's actually the same item. It's actually the same item. One is installed, right?
Okay.
As long as it's installed, it is tracked as socket so and so in training room, so and so in floor, so and so, isn't it? In my asset register. But I have bought an extra one that in case this one burns, I will use it to replace it, isn't it? And it is now in the store where I've kept filters, where I've kept batteries, where I've kept any extra things I want to use in the organization. As at that point, that thing is an inventory. It's a spare. The moment I take it from that stock inventory and I use it to replace this, I will update my asset register to say the socket that was there, that has been there since 2015, has been replaced 16th of July 2019. So this asset is being tracked. When I replace it, I know the date I replaced. So if it once again next week, I'll be like, oh no, why is something I used for 4 years, a new one I put will just burn within 1 week? Is there something wrong with the line? Is it a fake one I bought? I'll now investigate, isn't it? Because I'm tracking this. I'm not tracking the one in the inventory. I'm only knowing that stock is available. So I have a record of my inventory, but I'm tracking my assets.
Tosin has typed his message.
Okay.
I just read loud. He said, my question is, taking the example Mr. Paul just gave about the bank and IT department function.
Yes.
I got to know about an oil servicing company here in Nigeria that uses IT strictly as support business. Can that IT department be said to be under FM assets? Because most times the IT guys don't even do any work yet. They get paid heavily just to maintain connection or communication. Most times they don't do any serious work.
Oh yes. Yes.
When the operation starts about.
Yes.
Can they be said to be under FM assets?
Oh yes. For most organizations, IT is FM. For most organizations, IT is FM. IT, security, maintenance, you add all of them, they are all FM.
Like we are managing currently, IT is on
It's FM,
maintenance,
yeah.
but it's just isolated security to be an independent
unit. Oh yes. So there are some easy to isolate departments. IT is easy to isolate. Security is easy to isolate. HS is easy to isolate. But they are all FM.
But they can still take instruction from you.
Yeah, they,
Oh yes, they do. They must. They have to. You know why? Even in businesses where IT is isolated and are very big, the FM is the customer-facing person. Most things will still rub on the FM to go and get results from them for the customer.
sorry sir, you know why there is an isolation like that? Because number one, sometimes these security firms are contracted. They do not come directly from the FM company that is contracted at them.
Yes.
So they outsource these people. When they come, they don't give them the instruction that, okay, we are working under this
FM company even, that's true.
So
that's true.
They know that you are superior to them,
Yeah.
and they have to take instructions from you.
Yeah.
So that's just...
Yeah.
And if they still want to do a appraisal, they will still bring their assistant to you.
The ideal situation, if I'm employing two companies, I employ the FM company and I do put security in their scope. If I employ the security company, even if I employ them separately, I should have a line item in the FM contract to have them supervise the security company. If you run it parallel, you won't get the best result from them.
Because they are all check and balance.
Exactly. You won't get the best result from them. The security company will just come and do whatever they like. Usually the FM company will understand your kind of business, know how to provide various services, know how to adapt it to meet the need of the organization, right? It is that same process, that knowledge is what they are supposed to use to guide the security men on how to, their plan of their beats, how to manage their CCTV, how to do investigations. Even training for security teams are provided because security people come in with technical knowledge, as it were, we know how to secure, right? Now, but the knowledge of the users is in the hands of who? The FM. Yeah?
What if they are too hostile to the customers?
If the security men are too hostile to the customer. That's why the FM needs to have that control.
To check their SSC.
Because some of them don't know why they are there. Those security men can actually protect you from your customers.
I've seen it happen.
The reasons are waiting for customers. They are protecting you from them. At the end of the month, they will come and collect their money from you. And the people that should give you the money to give them, they didn't know that they were driving them away. All this while you were protecting you from the... They'll be hostile to people on the street and drive you away and being funny, right? They don't understand the reason for that business existing. And that's the difference. So when the FM is there, the FM understands that our job here is to help this business succeed, right? They pass that on in the way they groom the security team, and they all work as one team. So asset management is the coordinated activity of the organization to realize value from assets. Okay? You want to realize value from assets. How do you deploy assets? Some organizations know how to buy assets. There's a clear process before you buy anything. They have the approvals, they have the documentation, they have everything, right? Is the reason that those things are written clearly is so that that asset will be bought with a purpose. Not somebody that misplaced his printer, just order a new one. You know, it is when sometimes his toner are finished, you should have just bought toner, you just order a new one. If nobody is asking, why do you need a new printer? What printer did you use before? What happened to the last printer? Everybody know what I'm saying? How much is this new one going to cost? And why are you buying a new one instead of taking care of the old one that you had? If nobody is asking that question, we'll be buying anyhow.
Sorry, sir. I want to understand now, if procurement is actually a part of the duty of facility maintenance.
Yes. Now you see, facility management has maintenance as one aspect.
Okay.
Procurement is a big aspect of facility management, right? But it's just like we say security, IT, and which other one? HSC can be easily pulled out to stand alone. Procurement is easily pulled out to stand alone. Mainly because the organization puts a lot of processes in place to ensure that there is no abuse of the process. You know, the FM is like the customer, is the one that is using everything. If I'm the one that will put my hand in the money, collect it, first of all, wait till I'm the one that decided I need it. Nobody asked me any question. The once I decided I need it, I just put my hand where the money is. And then I'll now look around, call one of my friends to come and supply me. Most companies have gone under by now. You understand? So to put some kind of checks and balance, they will now create one group and say these guys are procurement. If you look at what they actually do, those procurement guys, they actually do all the facility management. If they want to get a cleaning company in, they must understand what cleaning is, isn't it? Is that not FM? If they want to buy any supplies, they must understand what the user wants to use that supply for, which is FM. At the end of the day, they are doing a part of FM which handles that entire process of acquiring stuff. So this deployment part of asset management in FM is done by who? The procurement team. But of course, it's a combined effort. The FM comes, customer says I need this. The FM writes the specification, right? Procurement guys do the checks, then they place the order. They bring, the FM receives it, hands over to the customer to go and use. So the system of asset management ensures that you can deploy your assets properly, which means you can acquire them properly, and then you can operate them well. If you acquire an asset, there's a user manual, and you didn't follow the user manual. There are checklists for things that you should check and things that you should do, and you did not do them. What will happen to that asset?
So
Depreciate, go bad, loss of value, anything, isn't it? So if I'm not doing asset management, I'm not managing the operations. And then there are routine items, maintenance things, right? I must do them to keep that asset value and keep it running for its expected period, and then also what? Upgrading, and finally what? Disposal. So if somebody asks you, what do you do in asset management as a facility manager? There you have it. How many?
5.
You deploy, which has to do with acquire. You operate, which means you use it. You track it. You keep it. Maintain, which means you service it, you repair it, you keep it running. You upgrade it when it's becoming obsolete. You change components, you respray it, you repaint it, you make it look good. You can upgrade it if it's computer software. My laptop, for example, I just say, you know what, I want to upgrade it from 16 GB RAM to 32 GB RAM. So get somebody, go to the market, get another adapter, the RAM adapter, and put it inside, and then it's now operating at 32 GB RAM, right? That's an upgrade. It's not the fault I was fixing, but I just want to keep it more efficient. Yeah, I put additional RAM. So, and then when the asset has reached its end of life, there should also be a process for disposal. For many organizations, we keep too much junk. We keep so much junk that we don't even realize that we are accruing a very high cost for disposal. If something stays in a space for 1 year or 6 months before it is disposed, right? If you were asked to calculate the useful life or the life cycle cost of that asset, you will start with how much was spent buying it, installing it, using it, operating it, fueling it, isn't it? Maintaining it. Now, disposal will not include the holding costs of the space where you kept it until you dispose it. You know what I'm saying?
What you just said now, it's making me to. We are having that same issue in my office of no parking space, and there are like 4 cars parked for over 3 years.
Exactly.
And then we don't have space.
Yes.
The account is now disbursing money house to find another parking space for cars for the company. People, even the head of drivers was like, let us dispose this car.
Yes. It's just make a simple case. These cars are costing us how much is a square meter around your space, right? Once you calculate that square meter, you now get the space covered by, or just take the parking lot price per car.
Where they just want
where they want to go and get. You don't want to multiply this 4 and say, how much are we making from these 4 cars? What is the value of these cars that are? People don't think. It's just a problem. I've seen places where they will pack generators. They also been removed since 2004. To the extent that, you know, when grass begins to grow from inside metal, you know that it has really, you now see grass growing from inside generator, you know that this thing has been there for a long time, yes. And yet they have it on ground. And it's big, it's there. What's the problem? I don't want to be seen as the one who have eye on it, so that I will not be the one taking it. Oh, very easy. My policy has been, when I was on the field, I'll declare it obsolete. I'll declare it in an auction, and I'll make sure I don't bid.
so that they won't think it's because of
I dispose fast with confidence. So when they now begin to ask, why is this guy interested in this disposal? Why is he interested in this disposal? Make it clear, I am not bidding. I'm not even going to make an offer. Let's say they make a high offer. But I want this thing to be out of here because it's costing us money every day. Cost us money.
Imagine how much those 4 cars will have.
Oh yes.
In a week, each one, it's about 3,000 to 4,000.
Yes. To pack one car.
Park one car. So,
Times 4 years. Times 3 years. So you just have to make a first memo that says, it looks like we have lost 1.5 million in 3 years.
And they'll be interested.
Exactly. It looks like we have lost 1.5 million in 3 years. And it is apparent that if we keep it for every other day, we will be losing 800 naira or 1,000 naira per day. The speed with which they respond to such analysis will be higher than let's remove it. You understand? You know, and then by the time you now say, by common estimates, if we were to estimate the value of these cars, you put a value. If we were to auction these cars today, we can make this amount from it as scrap.
And if you keep it in next
Yes, we'll add more of the month exactly. Between now and next year, let's say we can make 200k from each of those 4 cars, which is 800 today. By next year, we would have accumulated another 1.5 million, and we may make less than 800,000 from it next year because it generates further, isn't it?
Yes.
So why do you want to save it? You know, sometimes you can save land. You see, when they own the Korea house, they say they're incubating the land.
Yes.
You know, they incubate the land. So the land is 1 billion this year. We'll go to 1.2 billion next year. So you say, let's develop it. Leave it. It's earning money like that. Every year they'll do a new valuation on it. it will add extra 20% or extra 10%, depending on the economy. The economy is booming, the value is what? Rising. So every year the guy just needs to go, their value has come and value my land again. Value will say, oh yes, it has increased. Correct. Leave it there. It's like a farm. Maturing, like old wine, isn't it?
Yeah.
But can you say the same for the assets in management facilities?
They depreciate.
So that's the thing. So typically where you have drawings, specifications, permits, contract schedules, all the way to operations. Once your business is ready, you start operating it, you do maintenance here. I'm not talking about maintenance here, I'm talking about operating it, using it, opening doors, closing doors, putting on generators, putting on air conditioners, and then you have all the repairs. Things are going to the repairs, something breaks, you fix. And then you have the routine ones, the PDM, preventive maintenance. We're doing maintenance on Saturday, I think. I've been told, yes, we're doing maintenance on Saturday. I'm going to be here. Okay? And then you upgrade, retire. This is disposal. Okay? So typically that's what your asset. This will happen for the big assets like the building, as well as for every asset inside the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this building, this door, the building is going through its own cycle. This door is going through its own cycle. This AC is going through its own cycle, right? Okay, how do you align your assets portfolio so that it best provides the services you want to provide? Now, assets for FMs are a means to an end. You know what that means?
Yes.
They are not an end in themselves. For example, I don't particularly need an air conditioner. I need comfort cooling. Are we together here? So your focus should always be on the end, what you want to provide. If you're focused on the end, your options about how to go about it and the assets to deploy opens up. You're not stuck. It's not a case of AC was there before, therefore I must put AC. Are we together? It's not an end in itself. So we think of assets in that way, okay? And then begin to create policies that brings that alignment so that you're able to look straight and say, if I'm going to provide light, what are you doing with light, electricity, right? Since we know what you are doing with electricity, we can describe the type of electricity we want to meet that need, and then we now work our way back to what kind of sources can give us that quantity and that quality of electricity. You get what I'm saying? Somebody will say, oh, the most constant power source now is solar, let's go get solar. Okay, you bring solar and you want to install solar, you start asking yourself, will it run my AC? Will it run my electric cooker? Will it run my water heater? And you start having some funny questions about, isn't it? Because you know what's important to you. But if I run a house where it's wash and wear I use, I don't need pressing iron, for example, and the apartment is so high up, maybe on the 10th floor, where the breeze is free, abundant, I don't even need AC, right? A lot of considerations can make me say, you know what, just put solar. Worst case scenario, put fans. It can run the fans, right? Where did I start from? I started from my circumstances, what I need to get before I got to the source and say, oh, maybe solar can work. Don't start with solar or generator or diesel or gas. No. Start from what you want to get. Because what we have found is that solutions are changing rapidly. The ways to meet your asset requirements is not the conventional ways they used to be. There are many things now that are changing. Do you know that very soon we will stop buying washing machines, for example, because of clothes that will not be stained and can be disinfected without having to wash them?
That is interesting.
Oh yes, yes. It will soon be here, where you can wear white shirts and nothing can stain it. Whatever drops on it will fall off.
Even sweat.
That's what I'm saying. If it drops on it, will fall off, right? But if you now feel, oh, I've worn it for a long time, there will be some kind of airing system. You understand what the person who has the clothes want to get out of the clothes, isn't it? Clean, fresh, hygienic, right? So I'm now working back from the problem towards the solution. Not having provided washing machine first. So if washing machine is the answer, yes, I'll go for washing machine. Okay? Get a clear understanding of your assets. So I cannot manage something I don't know, right? So there are two things we tell facility managers when you are given facilities to manage. To start with, asset register and what? Condition assessment. Asset register for you to know what is there, and condition assessment to know the state in which they currently exist. Asset register is a list of everything you have as your assets. Oh, I have this building, I have 2 ACs, AC1 is this, AC2 is this, I have this lights, there are 6 numbers of so and so type of light, I have this paint on the wall, I have this notice board, I have this hanging shelf, I have this table, I have so and so number of so and so type of chairs. That's my asset register, isn't it? Now, if you bring that same asset register to me from 2 sources, there's a tendency for me to think that, oh yes, these 2 training rooms are the same. But if I enter training room A, I find out that all the chairs are broken. The table is falling apart. The so-called light bulbs, they are all showing half. You know how light can be showing half?
Yes.
One side is dim. Right? But that document that showed me the assets did not tell me the condition they are in. So if I were to ask to choose which one to manage or which one to own, I will easily make a mistake, isn't it? The same thing happens when we manage facilities. You want to go and rent a facility. Somebody says, oh, this facility is very nice, it's so location, it has this, it has that, it has that. Have you gone with agent to go and check house before? They will tell you the house is like heaven. That's the asset register. That's the asset register. Because the asset register is listed the way it's acquired, isn't it? But the condition assessment are additional information you provide per asset to say this one is 20 years old and it has been used by 10 families in the past 20 years. It is not looking very new. It's rough at some edges, it's broken at some edges, it's malfunctioning, it's making a noise. What am I doing that for? So that someone who sees it this time can have a clear picture of what that assets. That's the beginning of asset management for us. That's the beginning of asset management. You cannot manage something you don't know. Okay, and that's why 2 of your projects immediately after the classroom work finishes is asset register and condition assessment. So if you tell us you have window blinds, okay, the dimension, the type will be in the asset register, isn't it? Yeah. Then on the condition assessment, window blind again, now describe it. It's clean, no broken rail, it's functioning well, the mechanism works okay. If I read that, what does that tell me about the window blind?
Still very okay.
But if I read the rope is stiff.
It's knotted.
Yes, it is knotted. The rope is stiff. 2 or 3 of the rails have fallen off. I say, okay, I might need to repair or replace, isn't it? I begin to work with that mindset. Yes.
Sorry, sir. For this, this condition assessment.
Yes.
Is there some sort of a template that is
that you use?
Yes. It's
yes.
Templates.
Yes. Everything we'll give you on the project will give you the template and the guidelines.
Okay.
You understand? We'll give you the template and the guideline. You'll do it on a live property. Okay, we'll give you a template and guide, and we'll tell you even how to rank conditions. Because two of us can look at the condition of something and say, it's okay, the floor, it's fine, it's good. That's what I just said, right? You might come here and say, these edges,
The grit.
it's not, the grouting is not even, there is stain inside it. But what we will ask you to do is, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being new and 1 being unusable, how will you rate it? You look at it and say, it's definitely not 5, it's definitely not 1, isn't it?
Between 3 and 4.
So, okay, so let's say there's now 2, 3, and 4, isn't it? Okay. Now say, okay, is it how many years? How old is this thing? Say, this thing don't tell us. It's when they build this university, now this thing there here. It can't be 4. You know what I'm saying? Now they use 2 and what? 3. I will now look at it and say, but this thing is usable. I people come in here and they're not complaining. So it's not 2. Are you know what I'm saying? By the time I give you that number 3, you have given an objective indication of his condition. So if that report comes to me far away, and I know what 5 means, I know what 1 means, and you choose 3, I'll say manageable.
In between.
When I get there, I probably will polish it. I'll do deep cleaning and I'll polish it and I'm able to save it. If it is 2, I might say, maybe I can manage it for a while after doing some improvement, but I will change it as soon as money comes in. Isn't it? If it is 4, I'll like, oh, fantastic. It's close to looking new. If it is 5, I'll like, oh, wow, this is a jackpot. Right? I don't have to do anything. And what do they say when you are renting? I say it's pay and packing. Pay and packing means you're going to clean it. They dusted all the cobwebs. It's just pay and packing. You know, only to find out that you need to repair the toilet. Okay, so there's this problem in asset management. We have a lot of assets that because of poor tracking, assets get missing. You know that this is a big problem for many organizations. They know how things come in, but they don't know how those things get out. So I wasn't surprised when I entered one Sweet Sensation restaurant and I saw in the toilet seat, that rubber seat that people will sit on to use the toilet, as well as the cover, that porcelain cover of the system. They have crested, when I say crested, I'm not talking about painting on, engraved on, stolen from Sweet Sensation. The first time I saw it, I was like, these guys are going overboard. You have to go this desperate way to protect 7,000 naira toilet seat and this thing, until I managed a mall and realized that the reality of assets being stolen or lost is real. We had this particular toilet that that top cover is very expensive. It's actually designed, that seat is very expensive, designed to come with it. In fact, you can use it throughout the life of that toilet. About 45,000 if you have to go and buy a new one. People will go there, unscrew it, and take it away. The first time I noticed, I was going into the toilet and somebody says, no, sir, sorry, no verse. Your bag, you need to leave it here. My bag, I need to leave it outside. Why? And don't worry, we'll watch it for you. So I didn't take it easy. I called the facility manager. What useless policy is this? The guy now went to bring their books. How many of those toilets? They had like 6, making 12 in that particular toilet. How many they have bought in the last 3 months? How how many they have bought in the last 3 months. I became very humble that people will go into a public place with their backpack or any kind of bag, unscrew toilets and put inside it and stroll out and come again, because if you are replacing that often, it's obvious that it's not as if somebody that stole once will not come again. It's likely that that same person or others he's selling to and the business booming, they just be coming and unscrewing toilet seats. So assets need to be protected, guys, and we must face that reality. I used to be of this opinion that no. For example, in my church in Jubilee here, I'll come in sometimes, I'll meet that there's no tissue or there's no hand wash or something. Somebody will say, oh no, it's finished. People will just go there and remove it. And I will say, put another one in there. If they remove it 10 times a day, put another one in there 10 times a day. But over time I started realizing that we have to be more vigilant, because our costs will just keep what? Ballooning. Yes.
And Tosin asked the question that, can Mr. Paul please take a wrap again from strategy to life cycle, because we lost an audio connection.
Oh, you lost audio connection. Oh, there. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's talking about that life cycle management of facility of maintenance. I'll just quickly flip back. This one.
Yes.
I'm sure this is the one he's talking about. We're going to look this asset life cycle again and again in many of our courses. Have we done design build commissioning?
Yes.
You came across something like this, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly. So typically, what this simply means is your assets has a lot of thinking around various stages of its life cycle. And this particular diagram is very effective because it describes documentations and processes that you must put in place for every stage of its life cycle, as well as the activities that you are performing to manage the life cycle of an asset. So it's pretty much, it's pretty much the same life cycle you're going to come in across with different terminology from different modules. It simply means that an asset is born, the asset will at some point die. The reason we are looking at it as a life cycle is, as at the point of acquiring it, we are not only thinking about how it's going to be acquired, we are thinking about everything in the life cycle before you do what? Before you acquire. It's not after you have acquired, you start asking questions like, how much fuel does it consume? Or what kind of maintenance are we going to put into it? Or what skills do we need to repair components if the components fail? You ask those questions before. So all of the decisions that should be taken from stage to stage in this life cycle are taken at once. Before when? Before acquisition, during design. Alright? So that's why we are talking about as a life cycle. So that you want, and then we also stressed as part of that discussion that we are not looking at an asset as an end in itself. An asset is a means to an end. So you analyze the end that you want to arrive at before you look at the options of means. The means can be several. Okay? The means can be several. Okay. He's talking about the strategy, how to align your asset portfolio. That's pretty much straightforward. You can read that up, Tosin. Okay. We're just talking about lost assets, right? Sometimes you will have that asset that is missing in the company's asset register. Oh yes, it's still listed. A printer that is no longer in the premises is still listed in the register. Why? Somebody has claimed that it doesn't work anymore, so it was shifted to one side. Another one was brought that we are all now using. Right? Now that we are all using this one, this other one disappears. and becomes functional somewhere else. Have you not seen TVs? You go to somebody's house, you see TV with government name on it.
Even cars.
Even cars. I will not be wondering. So this organization tried to prevent this by engraving boldly on the face to say this property belongs to, so that anybody that sees it will say, bros, no now, this thing belongs to Ministry of so and so.
A farewell gift.
But now we will join him to watch it in his house and say, oh, so you worked in so and so ministry, that's how you got this TV, Abby. We're actually celebrating the stealing of that property. If you are going to give it out formally, you must also invest on the process of retagging it as donated, gifted, awarded. If you go abroad, you see some of those library computers, right? Library computers, when they are moving it away to maybe an orphanage home or to a homeless shelter or anything, they will add a new sticker that shows that we have gifted it. For some, if they sold it, they will add a new sticker that says sold to by us, right? So it carries that sticker.
Sorry, sir. Yes. A little bit to the past slides.
Okay.
Is it wise to tag the value of things you buy when taking inventory, be it inventory or
asset? Yes, definitely. Value, yeah, it's key, very key. Okay. It's very key. Your asset register must contain all of those.
That's all the question, sir.
Yes, please ask.
Asset tagging.
Yes.
Coding.
Yes.
I've seen asset and then where you tag it and then we put a barcode.
Barcode, yes.
And you can easily scan it.
Yes.
It's actually FM job.
Yes, it's FM. If the assets are FM assets, you know we differentiated between FM assets and core business assets, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So, but some organizations will use the same tagging system. A system that the tags will follow the same pattern, but the codes will show that this one is FM assets, this one is core business assets. So when you are pulling from that database asset that you manage, that you have to have maintenance plan for, you will know what you are pulling out. They'll be different from what the other man is managing in the same organization. Yes, you tagging is number one FM function. You know, we said register is your number one function, isn't it? So you can have a database of all the assets you are managing.
Yes.
We discussed here that one of the reasons why you create an asset register is so that you can track an asset. I just give you the example of the two printers. One was pushed aside, another one was brought into its position. If they were not tagged, that disappears. There's a printer, right? But if they were tagged, the system will show printer 1, tag number, printer 2, tag number, isn't it? So I cannot follow that other one. So no, there is another printer. It's on this list. Who took it? I can now use that to track. So tagging, yes. Now, how much technology you apply to tagging, we will discuss. Because there are systems for tagging now that removes all these manual. You know, there are sometimes we just deface an asset in the name of tagging and theft control. Well, there are technology now where an asset will be tagged. Nobody will even see any tag. But if that asset moves, just like what you have in shops, just try one day, just go to any shop and try.
Take something.
Carry a carton of shoe and see how far. Huh? Just try. As you pass through the door, you'll be shocked. A sound will sound. If they have that device, it's an RFID device. It puts a secret tag on the item. Whenever you pay, and they click paid, right? It deactivates that thing from their inventory. And once it's deactivated, as you pass, it's free. But if you have not paid, or the cashier has not issued a receipt, even if you give the cashier money and you pass, there'll be an alarm. You've stolen it. The same thing applies to asset tagging today. Beyond that, that's very sophisticated. We also have other sophisticated systems that enables you to manage the assets using the tag. If I come here now and I work on this AC, instead of logging in, searching for this room, searching for the asset type, then scrolling down to this particular AC to say, I clean the filter, I remove the compressor, I put a new one. Those are things I want to report when I do a maintenance activity. Okay, thank you, it's break time. All right? That's what I want to report, right? Instead of going through that cumbersome process, there's a barcode or any other QR code on the device. I'll just pick my phone, scan it. It will take me straight to this device inside my asset management system. So just open the device up, show me the picture, show me the last work done, show me the work order, raise everything. I will just scroll to the point where I am and just enter the particular activities I'm performing now. Straight. So I don't need to start doing paperwork or anything, and that app can be on any phone. I don't even need to have those barcode scanner that they use in supermarkets, and you don't need to just carry as far as your camera can, your phone can have a camera and has a QR code reader or barcode reader in it. That's all. You have the Apple, you scan it and you do your work inside. Let's have a little break.
Okay, sir. Before
Yes,
this,
okay.
I have a question that when your asset gets missing,
Yes.
should it still remain in the asset register, or you move it to another register? And what is the name of the register you move it to?
No. When an asset is missing,
Yes.
you update your asset register. Everything that comes out of the asset register needs to have a reason. So if I wrote stolen, for example, I will have to attach an incident investigation report. By the time I file that investigation report in my assets filing system, the next version of my asset register will now exclude that item. So when there's an audit trail tomorrow, they see that a particular asset that used to be on my asset register is no longer on it now. They will ask why I removed it, isn't it? I will now show them the version of the asset register that had it, plus the comments on how it was removed as what? Stolen, and a reference to the incident investigation report that showed that we investigated it, we caught a thief, or we didn't catch a thief. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's how to document and track. So we are accountable for every asset that gets into your facility. Okay? So it's not a matter of creating another register. All right, 5 minutes break. Register. We said one of the first things or the first objective of asset management is how to manage the deployment process, right? Mm-hmm. You process the purchase of assets in accordance with the organization's authorization and record keeping procedures. If anybody wants something, there's a process, there's a checklist, there are questions and answers before approval will be granted. That's what we're talking about here. Maintain adequate accounting records. For many organizations, what the accounting department keeps as their asset register is what the FMs has as asset register. But this is where that has its plus and minuses. Plus, in the sense that the accounting department are the ones spending the money. They want to lock in something tangible from their expense. So if somebody says, you guys spend so and so amount, they will say, this is the thing, right? So they keep an asset register for that purpose. Second reason is, every time you want to spend money operating and maintaining an asset, before they release it to you, they want to also link it back to what? The assets. So say, oh, this asset that we bought with this amount is what this guy wants to spend this amount keeping so that he can keep running for us. They can link that back. The third reason is for financial accounting purpose. When they buy an asset, not all assets show up in the book as if we spend that money now, especially in balance sheets. You can buy a brand new car, 25 million, but that car is 5 years, right? They will amortize it or depreciate it at 5 million per year. So the account books will show 5 million for car each year, not 25 million in the first year. Do you know what I'm saying? It won't show 25 million in the first year and 000 for car in subsequent years. So that's why they need to have that asset being tracked. Because if you go and put 5 million for car in the third year and that car is no longer existing, what that account looks like? So look at a fraudulent account, isn't it? So that's why the account people track. But at the end of 5 years, do you know what that car will be on the book? 0. So they will take it off. But that car may still be in the asset register of the FM. And he's still buying fuel. He's still buying fuel, still maintaining it, still changing spare parts. So there will be a discrepancy between the asset register of the FM and the asset register of who? The finance and accounting department. So we have to be conscious of this.
I have an experience of what you just said to me.
Okay.
We carry out evaluation.
Okay.
We carry out asset valuation.
Yes.
Where we have asset of companies.
Yes.
We discover that most of the time why accountants call us is after their book value.
Yes.
According to say.
Yes.
So they need value for it.
Yes.
They want to
replace it back in the book.
So, yes.
To show some value for it.
Especially when they want to get something from Baraka and
Exactly.
you just say, oh yeah, please.
Come and do valuation.
The value of all this thing.
Yes.
Our own accounting value has actually said
Is 0. Very good. They're showing it back to 0. They now want to have it because they are still getting value from it. Imagine a diesel truck, right? It's now 0 on the accounting asset register, but the truck can still carry goods from one point to another, right? Which means it still has value. Without that valuation, they won't be able to place it back and say they will have so and so residual value in so and so assets. It is now 0. So the asset register may be different for accounting and FM departments. Okay. Now you want to have, okay, so I've talked about depreciation, future asset investments. If I bought an asset in 2018 and in 2019 the asset is no longer serving me, I will ask the question, what did I have in mind when I was buying it in 2018? Was it for 1 year or for 3 years? If it was for 3 years, why am I buying it again in 2019, which is just 1 year later, isn't it? That question can lead me to, do I need the asset? Is there another way to get that need solved without buying that asset? Or is there a better asset that can replace the one we bought before, isn't it? Because that kind of thinking comes out of visibility of your asset records. If you don't have an asset register, you probably will not even remember you bought it last year. And then when somebody says we need it this year, you buy another one. If you want to know, some organizations have a very poor recording system where something breaks, everybody pushes it aside and do as if they don't need it anymore. Right? Nobody's talking about it again. Then after a few months, escalation will happen. And all you start hearing is as if we are all forgotten that we used to have it. And nobody has accounted for how it got out of operation. We'll now raise some funny escalations and hold some meetings and get some approvals and we'll buy another one. If that system is what's operating, people can exploit it to high heavens and get away with it every time. Even laptops. So people can go to organizations, find equipment and use, push it aside. It will break. It may break and you're afraid of being told use your money to fix it, right? Why did it break? Why did your light fall down or all that? Push it aside. Start doing as if I'm using my own laptop. I don't have official laptop. But that was not the case before. you're actually giving what? An official laptop. So after using your own laptop for like a month or two, one day you now say your personal laptop that you were using before, you are borrowed it to your brother who is going to school. They should come and give you official laptop. Who will catch you is the person that has the asset register. Because the asset register will show that a certain laptop with so and so number was assigned to so and so time. And the book still shows that it's assigned to you. What happened to it? Now you are busted, right? That laptop, it is old model now, and then the screen broke, and nobody repaired it for me that time, so I started using my own laptop. Now we are talking. Go and bring it out. Let's record screen break incidents and malfunction on the asset register and take the next step. If it is using your money to fix it or replace it that you are running away from them, you can now face it now. With some penalty, isn't it? You cannot face it now because that's the reality. Without a proper asset register, no company can actually estimate how much it's losing. You really can't estimate how much you are losing from big things to small things. Okay? So, what about the assets? I think we've talked through most of this. Verify the existence, track it, and then you talked about valuation. If you want to find out how big a business is, they get valuers. Come and value the assets. They throw that in and say, oh, we are this big, right? Part of the value. Okay, so to create an asset register, decide what the asset register will do for you. I made it clear before, the accounts and finance guys, they know what they want asset register for. You also should know what you want the asset register for. For operations, for maintenance, for what else again? Procurement, accountability for what you manage, disposal, management, obsolescence, and life cycle management. All kinds of stuff comes into your own reason. Okay? How will you organize your data? What's the most common tool we use for asset register compilation these days?
Excel.
Type inside Excel and put some dates, put some values, put some names, put some model and descriptions and all that. Okay, so Access is like a senior brother to Excel, isn't it? But when do we use Access? When the data sets are too much for an Excel sheet to handle. Excel sheet has 1,020,000 rows, right? So I wonder how many asset registers. I wonder how many asset register has more than 1,020,000 rows of line items. So yes, so that's why I said it's the most common. But I'm moving very quickly away from Excel because Excel is still being used as a static document, except you know how to program in Excel. You know how to program in Excel where pop-ups can be coming up to remind you that something is due for maintenance, something is due for replacement. This value needs to be checked in the market, because every time they're saying you must update your asset register. You might put the purchase price of an asset, but that's not the value as at the time you are looking at that asset register. So there must be a way of updating the asset value in the asset register as well on its own column. So there must be a pop-up that will say, if you know how to program, but if not, you use a software. There are so many asset management softwares today. Identify assets by performing a fiscal audit. This is where you have an asset in the book. That's not enough. You need to physically see that the assets exist. I got a shocker once when an air conditioner, a HVAC store that had cartons upon cartons of very expensive spare parts, and the scanning system will scan the carton and say yes, it's complete. One day, one fateful day, we say let's just bring down one of the cartons and check, and there were over 400 empty cartons in that warehouse. Over the first is something cartons of empty cartons. And the funniest part was, there was no way to trace back to the time those things disappeared. It could have been years. It could have been months. Because everybody that handled that store kept doing the same thing. Scan the carton and confirm that it is there. Only one man, let's just bring one down. Let's see what it look like. Whether the color is changing or something is going back, because they've been here for a long time. And you find out what you were worrying about is not what the reality was. The reality is that the styrofoam and the nylon is still intact, but the item inside was what? Missing. Okay? Every asset must have its own account, or basically how you account for it. So it's like a tag number. Okay? So these are the kind of things you want to have in your asset register. Let's go one by one. Read one, you read one, you read one. Let's go like that.
Asset name?
Yeah. No, hold on. Asset name. What will you call asset name?
Maybe a TV.
Television.
Asset.
Okay. Very good. Yes, what will you call that?
The generator.
Generator is the name. What's the capacity?
350
Yes. So capacity has to do with the size, the dimension in terms of operating capacity. So kVA or kilowatts, BTU for air conditioning, wattage for smaller devices, any kind of dimension. Those that can hold, operate at a certain run rate, for example, 200 rotations per minute type of device. That's capacity. Next.
Model name.
Yes. Model number.
Model number.
What's that?
That should be coming from, for instance, the generator, the company that produces it. Each particular type of engine has its own number that is being attached.
Very good.
Of which this one should be different from.
Very good. So the model number identifies the specification of the equipment. Okay, it's a number that is used to replace the long description of what that equipment is.
And most times, maybe if there is a small component in the gen, and you want to go and get that particular from the market.
Yes,
So you make use of
exactly.
The person that you share the stuff, the kind of.
Fantastic. So if you use a part number catalog, for example, the model number will always be in every part for that particular equipment. Next person.
The serial number.
Okay, what's that?
That is the ID, the number of a particular appliance or equipment.
Okay.
Which is not, you can't have two.
Very good.
Just one.
Very good. Like a signature of that equipment, like your thumbprint, right? For that equipment. And not every asset will have a serial number. Not every asset will have a model number. I won't have a model number and serial number for my roof and for my floor and for my walls, isn't it? Very good. Next person.
Asset location.
What is that?
In which the asset is at the time of counting on the register. Take for instance, if you have your asset, let's say maybe a phone. Now, probably it's with this person. You can say it's a location, or probably it's in this office.
We should add because we need to, that's why what else assigned to all accountable party or responsible person should be another line item. If you can make that note, yeah, should be another line item. The location is talking about physical location, the name of the room or the space where that asset is located. And that's why things like telephone that is mobile in our hands may not come into our asset register. Because if it does come into our asset register, we may leave the location blank and put the assigned person with a name, because it goes around with that person. Like a walkie-talkie, for example, you can put it in the asset register, but it goes around with somebody, so that person's name will be there. So location is a physical. Now, to get your location right for your asset register, you must do what we call the space hierarchy. So, if this is your site will probably have several buildings, right? your buildings, each building will probably have several floors. Each floor will probably have several zones, and each zone will probably have several spaces or rooms. You get what I'm saying? So if this is a training room, and this training room is in the office, rented office space in the second floor of Human Resource Development Center building in the University of Lagos. This is my hierarchy for where we are right now. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm asked to identify this writing board in my asset register, what's the location? Training room, rentable office area, second floor, HRODC, Unilag. Are we together? Because if you're able to do this hierarchy, you can easily come at some point to say, let's filter for all the assets in the training room. Right? Just the same way I can say, let's filter for all the ACs in second floor. Are you know what I'm saying? I've done the space hierarchy. I also have to do asset type hierarchy. You know we have asset name there, right? Asset type or asset categories. So this is where I have to do HVAC equipment, power, electrical equipment or assets. What else is there? Safety and security assets. What else is there? Is this something I did? If there is catering available in the facility. Now these are asset type. So I can put environmental. If I have gardens and I have garden benches and stuff and trees, you know, on and on like that. So I'll create this categorization for my assets, and then I'll create this categorization for my spaces. So this way, I can easily identify one location to another location. Okay? Because if you just keep writing training room, AC, training room chair, right? If I write that all over this, and there's another training room in First Bank building, what do you call that building? Yela Consult building, for example, right? At some point, I'll have them together in one Excel sheet, for example. I will mix up, yes. But with the space hierarchy, I know that the training room I'm referring to here is the one in the HRODC building in the second floor. Even there's another training room in the ground floor. That will be identified differently as training room in ground floor, not the training room in what? Second floor. Okay? So we talk about location. Next one is what?
Condition.
Yes, what's that? No, you're the one talking now. What's asset condition?
The condition is to check the condition of the telephone now. What's the issue before we start using it?
Yes, so in the asset register, you use a certain number range, a scale, to assign condition. You understand? Because you know the condition assessment.
Okay.
Condition assessment will be more detailed.
Not the description.
No. You can put a word or a number. For example, you can say new,
Okay.
new,
Good.
fair, very good, perfect. You know, just create a kind of a hierarchy. If you use a scale of 1 to 5, you assign words that describes what 1 is, what 2 is, what 3 is, what 4, what 5 is, right? So you can use those words directly, or you can use the number if you have a legend. So if you have an asset register and you have a legend at the bottom where you have described what 1 is, what 2 is for condition, but if not, you can use the words to describe it. So you have a column that describes asset condition. Next person.
That is purchase price.
Yes, which is
It's actually referring to the actual
amount you used to buy it
that
when you bought it.
particular.
Next.
the date at which that asset was
Acquired, exactly. So you write the date there. Yes.
The asset manufacturer.
Yes. So this is where you. What do you put here?
That is the producer.
The producer. And this is where you have like a brand or a label. Yeah, that's the manufacturer. HPLG, blah blah blah. Next.
Asset description.
What is that? Yes.
It tells us what the asset does and what it looks like.
Okay, so asset description.
Maybe good fabric.
Exactly. Any critical information that can help me visualize that asset. You understand? So I can put the dimensions, I can put the color, I can put the function, I can put the user, I can put, anything I want to put in there, I'll put on that description. Yes.
Sorry. This asset description doesn't it have isn't it similar to
Name.
capacity?
No. Okay, now that's a good question. Some assets will not have anything in capacity. For example, I can have this table. Capacity is 12-seater, right? But description, black, low level, you understand, or formica top, something to describe it. Capacity has to do with how much you can do. What is the load capacity? What is the rating, right? But description is additional information about it. Now, whatever you put in the description is just for you to determine, visualize what asset it is. Because you could have a 12-seater table here, and there's another 12-seater table in the training room downstairs. But that one is not this same type. If somebody says, oh, it was water that spoiled the training table. Exactly. Particle board was used for that one. But this one, there is a water resistant layer on the surface of this table, right? Without the description, you may want to you may start arguing something like, no, water should not spoil table now. Don't we have table on the second floor? Why water is spoiling the one on the ground floor, right? But when you know that this one is plywood with formica top and that one is particle board, you can tell, oh yes, even if you keep your bottle of Fanta on top and the moisture gather on that one, it can never affect it. That's another description. Next one. Okay, let's start from you again.
Insurance coverage.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the type of insurance a particular asset has.
Yes, you typically say yes or no.
Yes or no.
It's just yes or no. Or not. It's just yes or no. Is this insured or is not insured? Yes. Warranty. What is that?
2 years warranty. 3 years warranty.
The assurance the company, the manufacturer is giving you.
Now, see, the information you put here is the amount or the length of warranty and the status of that warranty. So if they put 1 year warranty, date of purchase was February 2018, for example. Your expectation is that February 2019 the warranty should expire, right? But that warranty may not start on the date of purchase. It may have started on the date of installation. We bought it February 2018, but we installed it when the place was not finally ready in November 2018. Because I know that the warranty is 6 months from date of installation, not 6 months from date of purchase, I know the current status of that warranty. Because I have date of purchase, right? And I also have what? Date of installation.
You can say that one either intact or not intact.
Valid or expired. You understand? Valid or expired, basically. Okay. Which other one did we talk about? I've talked about date asset placed in service. So that's the day you actually started using it. You might have bought it and kept it in carton. The day you said, the way you mentioned about the sockets and sockets, the one that you put in the stock that was really used for 2 years had not been placed in service. But you purchased it since. Then what's this one? Fantastic one. Whose turn is it? Tell us, it's your turn, right? How do you find this?
Estimated life of the asset.
Yes.
It wants to have something to do with the warranty information. They want to look similar.
No, it's not. Very different.
But does it in any way have to do with when you say the expiry? That is, if that particular thing does have an expiry date.
Most assets will not have expiry dates. They will have useful life. It's different from expiry dates.
Is it usually stated?
No, it's not. That's why I'm asking, how do you know it? It's usually not stated. If you buy a gen, the gen will say, service is this hour, service is that hour, after 10,000 hours, do overhauling, isn't it?
Yes.
That is an indication of useful life.
Okay.
It's an indication. If somebody tells me overhaul it after 10,000, it's actually telling me go and remake it, because what I make for you after 10,000 hours,
the efficiency drops.
it has dropped from what you expect. So all those promises I gave you in page 1, it will no longer give you those things, no matter how much you maintain it after 10,000 hours, right? Until you overhaul. That's an indication that has its useful life. So I'll put 10,000 hours there as what? Useful life. But for most other useful life, you get information from your own past experience. When we installed split ACs, how long before it starts giving us too much trouble? We have what we call the degradation curve. From brand new, your asset degrade this way over time, right? Now it doesn't degrade to 0, it degrades in such a way that it becomes very bad, right? You keep repairing, epileptic. So the quality, this is the quality over time. So this is what we call a degradation curve, right? Degradation curve. What this is typically saying is, with your very good maintenance, your asset quality will keep reducing over time, even with the best of maintenance, right? Now, if you look at this curve, you will notice something happening between here and say here on the curve. What's happening to this curve? Degradation is very slow. The gradient is shallow, right? But between here and here on this curve, you will find a very sharp drop. There's a point at which you should replace it. You start considering replacing from when this drops. Okay?
That is a useful.
Fantastic. So this is now your useful life for these assets. Are we together?
Yes. Useful life or estimated life?
Estimated useful life, yes. Estimated, it's estimated. So my point here is, you would have experienced this with assets over time to get a sense of what this useful life, estimated useful life should be.
So what of the case of a building?
A building, yes. Even buildings go through the same.
Like what we were told during
Probably roofing sheets too.
It goes through the same thing.
building
build, design, build, commissioning. No, okay.
Building that I think the topic that has to do with building codes and
okay, building regulatory. Yes.
What we were told, they said the efficiency of cement over time.
Yes.
In water.
Yes. It reduces. It reduces. People just think that once you have something, that as its aging should be better. No, it doesn't get better. It follows this pattern.
But from what the man said, he gave an example with a bridge.
Yes.
That over time, because the support system of bridges are always immersed in water.
Yeah.
So as long as it's in water, over time it hardens.
Okay.
You know, so can we still, because the two things they seem contrary to each other?
No.
I don't think it's the kind of cement used in construction of water stuff is there from the building?
No. Even if it hadn't, right? The bridge is still degrading. That's why they go to perform maintenance on bridges.
I get you, because
Yes.
not the springs even, the rods.
Rods inside it will also be hardening as they are contacting with water. So that reality has to be felt. Degradation is real. Now, so how do you know your useful life? One, your own personal experience. Things you have managed in the past, how long they served you before they started malfunctioning. Now, you have to moderate it from area to area. If you manage some areas in Ojodu and Ikeja, air conditioners for example, where there is no sea salt to dissolve your fans from your outdoor units, you may not use that same experience to benchmark against Lekki houses on the seaward side, where metals are under attack around the clock. You get what I'm saying? So you balance that. Desert areas, monsoon areas, forest areas will all have different environmental climatic impact. Now, so how do you now get useful life for areas where you do not have your own experience? You will now benchmark against similar facilities and facility managers and operators of buildings around that area. So you get a sense of how long things serve them before they start having issues. You get that information. You get it from professional bodies. IFMA meetings, Nigeria FM Initiative, you have that mingling with other FM, networking to get information. It is called estimated because no one can put his foot down and say, this AC will last for 5 years, or after 5 years I must throw it away. Right? It's estimated. Estimated simply means that when it gets through to that time, you will do another condition assessment. When you do a new condition assessment, you can extend the estimated life again and say, oh, this thing looks too good, let me give it another 3 years. Every year they're coming to check it, but let me give it 3 years. So I'll record in the book another 3 years additional useful life. Are we together? And that's where it helps me to make my plans for capital replacement, because once I put estimated useful life of 8 years, for example, the capex plan or capex budget for the 8th year should include cost for replacing it, which simply means I must keep having updates on the cost, replacement cost on an ongoing basis. Okay, so that's one other item I want you to add. Current value. It's not here, right? Please make a note of these 2 items. I'll give you one before. I gave you which one? Assigned. Person assigned, right? Responsible party. And then this next one is asset value. Now, asset value. Okay, now fine. For the asset value, I'm talking of current asset value. It's not the same as salvage value. Salvage value refers to at the end of its useful life, how much will I get back if I sold it in an auction? That's salvage value. Now, the asset value, the current asset value, will be getting close to the salvage value as the asset is getting older. The current value of the assets will be reducing towards the salvage value. You understand? So if I have salvage value of 1,000 naira and the current value 3 years ago was 5,000, if this asset is due for disposal next year, which means is next year it will be 1,000 in value. Today's value might be 2,000. Current asset value. Yes.
If we say salvage value is what you get when you auction it off.
Yes.
What can we call the value of what you spend if you want to?
That's disposal cost. If I want to overhaul it. No, if I want to overhaul it, it means I'm reinvesting into the assets. I'm reinvesting into the asset. I'm virtually creating a new asset. So that's completely different.
So what's the difference between scrap value and salvage value?
It's the same thing. Scrap value and salvage value is the same thing.
So that means at the end of this call,
yes,
it goes back to the scrap or...
Yes, so that little value left, that's why I didn't draw this curve to touch 0. That little value left, has somebody will buy it for that value. take your batteries, your inverter batteries. The inverter battery no longer hold you even 10 minutes again. Somebody will still come and buy it.
They recycle it.
Oh, they recycle it. They take out all those lead and zinc and whatever is inside and they do something else with it. They will use the rubber for other things. Okay, so that's how it works. Then there's one more line item that you need to also introduce, the current replacement value. You know that we put the purchase price here, right? We also need to include a current replacement value. Why do we need that?
So actually, if you want to buy a new one.
Exactly. If I were to buy a new one today, how much does this item cost? The current replacement value will keep increasing towards the time I will need to budget for its replacement. If the item price normally increases.
Okay.
So how long should we update something like that?
The asset register is a living document. Every month it must be on your face. In fact, every day you should wake up to it. Every day you should wake up to it.
No, there are some aspects that
Will be daily.
There
Then
are
some
some that
aspects
will be probably
weekly.
Monthly,
and some
yes,
will be monthly.
yes. But do not file off your asset register. People file it off too often. They just produce it, record it, and save it. You don't have one, yes. And then you must assign an ID number. So the ID number can use this. So the ID number can use this categorization. For example, you have HV, PO, EL, right? Depending on how you make this list. So you can use HV slash something about its location, right? And you put a number. So it identifies the assets, the location, the asset type, the location, and the number for that asset. But that's still manual. That's still manual. Nowadays, we just give it, in fact, the software, if we're using software, we just generate any number for it that identifies it, because you don't really need to memorize that number, just an ID, because you're scanning it anyway. But if you want to use a manual system in Excel, then you need to create that ID as a combination of letters and numbers. And that's what we're going to look at now.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to take you back to the warranty information.
Yes.
You said that for assets, the warranty starts from the date of installation.
Yes.
For instance, if I have an AC
Yeah.
and I didn't probably install it for about 2 years, how is the manufacturer supposed to know the date of installation?
So usually, if you assets that work with date of installation, they will normally be assets that hook up to things. For example, if you buy a server, you hook up a server to the internet, for example. If you buy a phone, when you put in network, there's an indication that you can use to prove that this is when you put it to use. Most of the assets are going to be, the day you take it from the shop, they sign the thing for you, they put a date of receipt for you, that's your counting.
What if it's the company that purchased it from, they are the one installing?
If you are the one installing, yes. So if, for example, you are buying from an OEM, for example, original equipment manufacturer, where they are the ones that sold to you, and they know it's in store, and when it's time to install, it's in store right now. They know when it's time to install it, you call them back to come and install. They can also sign a warranty for installation time for you. Yeah, so it's a case by case basis. It's not really hard set in stone. Okay, so we talked about computer systems in managing assets, and I've talked us through this before. Just now, when you find yourself in an environment where the asset registers will be much and complex, don't try to do it manually. You won't be helping anybody's cause. You won't be saving any money. Some people are earning 150, 250 a month, and they are spending that time doing manual things that the software can take care of. Even if they spend 2 million on that software, considering how many years the software will serve them, it comes to less than 5k, 10k a month in real costs for what the software is doing. So why do we want to do it manually? So we use structured systems using data. I was just talking about how to tag, if you want to do manual tagging, putting location, asset type, using codes to form and then putting number to it. But the automated ones, they use devices like this. You see this phone? You just have this sticker on the device, and then once you read it, as it scans it, it opens that page for you, and it gives you access to the software, to the device itself. So you don't have to actually start scrolling and looking for it.
How do we generate that code?
It's the same software. So if I were to label this printer, for example, I will add new assets to my register, and it will open a dialog box. I'll put in numbers, put in information, I'll click save. It will pop up on the software, it will pop up a code. I'll print the code using a sticker printer and paste it there. You understand? So whenever a phone comes and scans that code, it will open that same page that I've put all those information. When it opens, there will be additional entries for you to enter whatever you came there to come and do.
What of situation you forgot to print it out, or probably at the point of printing it out, maybe the computer manufacturers?
No, it's saved.
It's saved.
It's saved. Any day you go in.
Okay, you now search it manually that time.
Yes, exactly. So you search it and say, I have a certain HP printer, so and so number. You search it, it will bring it up. You now click on print the label. The print the label, you put it on it again.
Sorry, sir. Like these equipment we are saying now.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are ready-made equipments.
Yes.
Are they specifically for this asset?
Tagging.
Just for tagging?
Yes.
It doesn't have anything to do with the software?
Well, these are accessories, or these are component parts of the software. These are the hardware that you use to gather data in and out. Okay. But the software is what manages the data they capture.
Okay.
You understand? So what I was explaining is, we no longer use expensive hardwares like this. Your phone can now read
that pattern.
Yes, instead of taking this around to go and scan, you will be connected to a computer or a palm top, right? You scan, it opens it, you walk inside, then you save, you go to the next one, you scan. No need for that double devices. This is now out of the way. You just take your laptop, your palm top or your phone, and just, since it has a camera, this is a camera, basically. So if you're having a separate camera and having a separate device now has a camera, just use it to scan straight using the app.
But in a situation where you have the software installed on your system.
Yes.
And of course, you are still able to download. So what I basically want to ask is that, does that mean the software will be online?
The software
to be able to use it with your phone.
Oh yes, the software is online. Your phone can go into the software using URL web access, or an app registered on Play Store or iPhone Store. Yeah. So you can have an app. For example, in Max-Migold here we have our training app. Right? People can buy our online training, and if they download the Max-Migold app into their phone, they can log in through the app, take their training, and not have to go to the computer. That's the same way this one works. It's just an app. Okay. Of course, once you have asset data, you must manage those data. You must visit your asset register on a regular basis. I've talked about tagging. I'm going to just be quick from here. So this is just some guide. Those formats I opened, that spreadsheet I opened, the location, asset type to create different tags. Now, so what we are experiencing today is an era of big data, where as you are acquiring data from multiple sources, those data are now able to integrate with themselves. For example, the procurement people use a certain application for doing request for proposal, bidding process, and all that. The account and finance people use another software for doing accounting, who spent what, how much was spent, right? Now, there's now the FM tool for asset management, which tags, acquire the data of the asset. So integration now means that the procurement guys, when somebody supplies an equipment into the site, and the FM does the asset register, updates the asset register, the FM can integrate with the procurement record for their own tracking of, this is the particular asset. You are the one to open the carton to bring out the assets. You pick out the serial number and all that. It will link back to that procurement, that RFP, who supplied it, the vendor and all that. It will link back to finance, how much we paid for it, how that payment is broken down. That history and that record that finance generated, that procurement generated, that FM generated, can now sit in all three. So, if that linkage takes place, I won't be struggling to send them an email. Send me how much you bought this printer. The moment I put the code for this, it syncs with their own data and posts the costs with the cost breakdown, which they have entered in their own system. So there's a lot of data integration now from those software, and that's why a lot of companies are always ask, when you are bringing a software, they'll ask what language, what integration is possible, because they want to be able to integrate a new software with what they already have. Because when that integration cannot happen, it means that you still have to download information, type exactly, which reduces the efficiency of such.
Try getting
a software.
Yeah, but
okay, so the problem with getting software when you have not defined your processes and asset data on paper is that no software is ideal.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
No software is ideal. You must first have the asset register developed on Excel.
Okay.
Start working with it, right? You now say, I want to speed up my efficiency. I want to have automatic prompts. I want to have emails automatically sent with SMS sent to technicians so that they know what they should do. I want to automate my work order so that when the work order comes out, it has work process on how to do the job listed in it. I want to have a tracking. This guy just went 6 months to go and service one AC, didn't come back till 2 o'clock, right? I want to have a tracking that tells me at the end of the month, look, guys, you're not getting paid full salary this month because you did only 5 items, and these 5 items is worth 3 hours for 20 hours pay, right? So those kind of things you want to automate. You now go and look for a software and say, this software, can it give me hours spent doing a particular job? Say yes, okay. Can you have attachment of work process? Say yes, okay. Can you help me enter the costs? You say yes. If materials are changed, will you help me update the materials? You say yes. You don't have a series of questions based on what you are doing in your asset management already. Anyone that does not meet those minimum requirements, this is not the software I'm looking for. Instead of going first to software before trying to create what you want to do with the software. No, you must already be doing it well without software for software to make sense. People are wasting money. I see people just buying software. $57, $7,000, just pay it. I've even seen $500 million investments in Nigeria, 500 million.
On software?
Oh yes.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Yes, for a big organization, yes. You can't buy a software for a bank, for example, to manage 400 branches and spend less than that kind of money I'm talking about.
It's not possible to actually locally program.
There are so many local ones. There are so many local ones, okay? And that's why some organizations too on there will just get the IT guys.
I'm currently working on it. Because you say you should go to the market, they look at you like a thief. That's what I'm saying. For software.
Yeah, so
what's wrong with you?
So they just start creating their own, provided it meets their
They
needs.
just domesticate the AI girls and bring out their own version.
That's
So the
it.
local one you are doing is still expensive. That's the thing. When you tender your quotations like this, they look at you. What do you mean? What is this nonsense?
But there are some of them now that now uses software as a service, pay as you go arrangements,
Yes.
where you pay 50K per month, for example, and you can load all your assets in there and do all your management inside there. They'll be paying that as you go
More or
arrangements.
less like you are hosting a website.
Exactly. So they just host it for you, all your data will be there. They just be paying. You just be paying for the continuous running. It makes it easy. So implementing an FM system, we're going to talk more about this during the technology module. Well, we take so just get some ideas on how to take care of critical issues, what to consider before you go for a software, assess your business needs, decide on the objectives first, identify the system requirement. This is where I said you must already have been doing it. You now know what you want to get out of it before you now go and look for software. What will be done with the information. People are measuring and counting things that are not relevant. If I'm going to use software for something, the software should give me something that is tangible, something I can see as a result. Not just because everybody is counting it, and then you go ahead and buy it. Then when you are implementing, be conscious of having a clear plan. It's not just enough to go and call somebody and say, that's your software, come and roll it out for us. I hear that kind of thing a lot, I'll just laugh. Nobody can roll it out for you. Come and roll it out for us. The guy will just come here, run around your stuff. In fact, sometimes he will come, nobody will pay attention to him. They'll be like, he'll be as if it's not a nuisance to the organization, trying to roll it out for you. But if it's you that really wants it, is you that now desires to use this system to make your work faster, you will sit down with him and you will draw up a plan that will have roles and responsibility for everybody in the organization, with timeline for certain activities. You will bring up, as a software integrator, you bring up all the tasks that needs to be gathered, all the documentation that must be prepared. You know, sometimes we want to deploy a software for you. It will take us 4 to 6 months to get you ready with your own document that you will bring for us to deploy the software.
Yes, it takes time.
And sometimes it is more expensive than the software. You can negotiate for that software, I say it's 50,000 a month for signing up, right? But creating your asset register and your workflow and your process, your SOP that will go into it. You know that when you deploy a software, the software starts behaving in a pre-programmed way. For example, you want to buy. If you raise a request, the software will decide, you put an amount, it will now decide whether that amount is approval for her or approval for him before her. Are you getting what I'm saying? Or they don't require approval, that him alone can approve it and the work order can come out. Are you getting what I'm saying? I would have defined that processes in the back end, configured in the back end, with everybody's details and their authorization limits inside. But if I don't already know that process, that software will be useless. So instead of coming to come and install the software, I will now ask, how do you guys operate? Who approves what? Who requests what? Who sanctions this? Who does this? If a work needs to be done from a customer end, who is the person that will review it? I will configure that person's detail there. Who is the person that you will assign the job to? Options. It could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. What condition will make it number 1? What condition will make it number 2? What condition will make it number 3? You understand what I'm saying? A job came from you. He does the analysis. AC, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, right? There will be something he will use to decide whether it is going to be AC or carpentry or plumbing. So by the time you now click on AC, the system already knows that, oh, he is AC. Where's his phone number? Where's his email? So I can send him a message to say the job is there for him to do. You see, these are things that we will normally do manually. We will not sit down, we will not document it. We will not configure it into the system, so the system can do it automatically. So I don't need to call him and say, come on, there's work. Oh, no. As long as I just enter it, there's a work from so and so person, this type of person, assigned to who? Damn, I've done my part. Pop up. from his own computer, his own phone. We just tell him, you have a work to do. He will click on it, he will see all the details, he will go and do his own scoping inside, because that's what the system will now say. Scope it, put materials you will use, put how many hours it will cost, put how many people you use, submit. He goes to procurement or store. If there's a store will now say, oh, you need 10 bulbs. What type of bulb? Okay, we don't have. You know what I'm saying? All of those processes must be defined first. The outsider that is coming to deploy software for you does not know those things.
Doesn't even know the line of authority.
He doesn't know. In some cases, he doesn't even know FM. He doesn't know. Some people think that when you buy a software, the software developer should come and show you standard way of doing things.
Sorry, sir. Is it possible as an FM
Yes.
to section your own company? Like as you mean, you don't want to go into this broad, because FM to me now it's so broad that
Yes.
you can just section it, say, okay, I just want to deal with electrical mechanical.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Every other part of it.
See,
wait.
I have people in FM today in Lagos. They only do fumigation. But not all fumigation. If you want chemicals, they are not there. They are doing integrated pest management, where they will come and do traps, nets, and block. And their SLA is tied to, I assure you will not see rats, cockroach, mosquito. If you see the number of complaints you complain, we deduct my money. So my job is to prevent you from seeing those things, and I will not spray chemical. There are some guys, they are not plumbers. They only on block. Plumbers can run pipe and maintain anything. Their own job is call them if that blockage pass you. They will come there, they have an equipment, they will put it inside. If they try the mechanical one, the thing doesn't go through, they will put a snake, mechanical snake with camera inside it. The thing will go in. It will record everything it sees. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, there's a concrete inside there. Okay, so we now know where the problem. Flushing cannot help you in this case. We know the exact point. We'll cut into that place, remove that concrete blockage, and put a new pipe. Continue your cleaning and plumbing. We are not plumbers. Pay us. Facility management is broad. You can pick. People are actually in this Lagos. Their job is just to provide printing and photocopying. Don't buy. We will come and put standard printers in your office. As you dey print, you dey pay. That's what FM will do for you, nothing more. So we'll bring a vending machine. There is bottled water, and there is soda, and there is coffee, and there is chocolates. That's all their job. That's FM, just to make sure people are comfortable where they are, right? Yes, just pick your area. Pick your area and focus on it. The jobs in FM, the opportunities in FM are much, very many. Very many. Some guys will say, oh, I do FM, I do everything in FM. Before you know what's happening, they are bumped. Whereas in this Lagos, there are some cleaning companies. It's just cleaning they do. It's just cleaning. I talked to one lady once and she does cleaning, and she was telling me she makes an average of 10,000 naira. Say as her cleaning staff are increasing, that's how her money is also increasing. Because every time she knows she has 800 workers, 700 workers, it's times 10,000 that she used to calculate her money. I'm telling you, when I did the analysis, I just realized that I've been wasting a lot of time. As I'm going to pay long ago. It's huge and it's everywhere. Just pick the one you are good at. And that's why today I cannot go back and say, oh, I've been doing cleaning. That's not my strength. My strength is what I'm doing. I can consult, I can advise you on complex projects, I can train. Yeah? Stay there. And I'm holding on to it very firmly. And that's how FM is. I can decide to be everything to everybody. But what am I known for? What am I good at? What can I actually deliver and say, with this one, nobody can beat me in it. That's how FM is. Pick one. Okay? Alright, let's read up the rest. When you have your IT systems, your technology, FM technology installed, The point to when you install it is the easiest part. It's after you install it you can really know whether you will get value from it. You must measure that it's actually giving you that result. If it's not giving you the results, you go back to the drawing board and find out what went wrong. Okay? Questions? Can read up. Few items left. There's an assessment with this one. Questions? Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, yes.
My question is related back to that particular slide that has to do something with core business and support.
Okay, that beginning one. Okay.
You mentioned of there are some people that maybe as an engineer,
Yeah.
they are doing the FM job in their core business without them knowing. And at times one might find this yourself in an environment whereby you might be told to go and do so and so thing. Whereas as an FM you're not supposed to do it.
No, not that you are not supposed to. No, you are not supposed to. So the competencies of an FM, the professional, what word will I use now? Your professional identity as an FM, right, will stand you out as an expert in the thing you are good at. People should not just see you as an engineer. Are you getting what I'm saying? Not just as an engineer. If I'm a production engineer, I'm a production engineer. If I'm a facility management, using my engineering skills in facility management, I professionalize in that area. Because what happens to most careers is that people dart from one point to the other, to the extent where they don't have a consistent experience and they don't have a consistent certification, education that aligns with a field that they can identify as a growing field.
They don't need to measure
Their progress and their competency. And that's the challenge. So usually what I would say is, if you find yourself as an engineer in the support function, quickly professionalize yourself. Take FM training, take the certifications, grow in such a way that your organization recognizes you as an expert in managing that support function, even though you are an engineer. And you grow in that line, and you can move from that organization to another organization managing their facilities, right? Now, if you did a little of that, you didn't professionalize, you started making toilet rolls in the core business. And then all of a sudden, people are no longer using toilet rolls, and all the factories producing toilet rolls, like testers happening in Nigeria, folded up. What happens to that career? Career ends with toilet roll.
Retrenchment.
You get what I'm saying? But that same person could have professionalized in FM, and as an FM you are available to all industries, isn't it? Available to all industries because you're in support function. You have become an expert in that area. So you can dart from here to there, but sometimes just know where you belong. Just know what your strength is, what your professional standing is, where you work. That's the point I was making. It doesn't mean that a small company that does not have the resources to employ FM for the support function and the core guy, right, will not employ one person to do both. You can even be the one doing both. You'll be the plant manager, supervising cleaners, supervising maintenance crews, generator, and everything at the same time, because it's a small organization. As it gets bigger, they will put someone else to do another part of the job, right? So it doesn't mean you cannot. Please, that's not the impression. You can. You can.
I have another question.
Okay.
Sorry for the delay.
No, go ahead.
This one is I've been trying to find a way through it. It comes from that work productivity.
Okay. Workplace productivity.
You made mention of in a place in our CV that instead of us writing down our JD as a job description in our CV, that we should write down our achievements.
Accomplishments. Yeah.
What's an example like?
I give many examples that do.
As in, okay, for instance now, support engineer, instead of stating out the stuff I do as a support engineer and service provider, maybe I start writing down the things I have.
Yes, I reduce costs, by so and so. I create asset register for that place. I did an audit for that place. So many things.
I was about asking this question before the
okay.
Can you give let me just say a sample of it, like saying it now, because some of us may not know how to incorporate it. We've been working over the years, you know, this is what I've been doing. I know that I'm good in this, but when it comes to me incorporating it into my
achievements, yes,
things like that. From your experience now, you know what employers
are looking for. Yes.
So if you give us the key feature, just for us to go and say, okay, this is this.
Oh yes,
so
yes.
It will aid a lot of us.
Yes. Okay. So if you are working as an admin manager, for example, right, and your job involves buying supplies from different vendors, your job description is manage the purchasing function, right? But what accomplishment could you possibly have in that role? You could carry out a market survey and produce a standardized cost structure for the organization. You could do vendor pre-qualification and come up with highly qualified service providers. You could achieve baseline cost reduction. We used to spend 200,000, now we spend 150, right? 25% cost reduction over a 12-month period, right? You could have done diversification. You met the team. When you got there, they were all Igbos, all Yorubas in that team. But within 12 months, you now have a diverse workforce in the team. That's an achievement. You think about things that adds value to the organization. You know, many of us, we work from day to day, month to month, and we cannot beat our chest to say, this is what I have done that can be counted. Let's take, for example, I'm doing maintenance requests. When customers make requests, I go and do it, right? As I do the request, I submit back to customers. Am I counting things like customer complaint? How many times customer complain on a weekly basis? If I'm not counting it, I cannot count it an achievement, because if I'm counting it, I will say reduce customer complaint from 10 a week to 2 complaints per week, right? Increase number of work orders from 5 work orders a day to 10 work orders a day. Increase the frequency of inspections from 1 inspection per quarter to 2 inspections per week or 2 inspections per month. You know, a lot of things that you can do, because you are measuring some things. Okay, let's take your job description. If you give me one item in your job description, let's use that as an example. One item in your job description.
Crimping of LAN cables.
Come again?
Crimping of LAN cables.
LAN cables.
Yeah.
That's not a job description item. That's an SOP item. Because if you are doing LAN connections, even installations, so IT installations, that's a job description item, right? Which means that if they have to put access points everywhere, you run LAN cables, mount the access points. That's typical of a job description. Yeah. So research new ways of creeping cables. For example, if there was an old way of using teeth to creep cables, and now you research a more
you are now using fiber instead of.
Are you getting what I'm saying? So I have an achievement. I now know how to creep cables better than it was being done before. What else can come in there for IT installation?
Technological improvement.
Yes, I can say phase out all obsolete equipment in inventory. For example, you have some old devices, we keep buying new ones to replace, but now have researched on new equipment to replace them with more modern features, right? Handled the deployment of sensors in our building management system, right? Which is like, oh wow, this guy understands Internet of Things, isn't it? But your job description was just what? IT installations. Work with the FM team to select the suitable FM software, right? So
you mentioned something like handling of installations. So
yeah.
That's one of the roles.
Yes, that's the role, but that's not an achievement.
The achievement of that role.
And so the achievement I've just been listing now includes things like new ideas, innovations, faster ways of doing things, right? Changes that you have brought on board, right? Yes, how you have learned something new, you know.
Improvement on customer satisfaction.
For example, you must have things you measure. Now, a typical way to measure your achievements or identify your achievements is ask yourself, what does management expect you to report on? What do management normally expect you to report on? The things you report on will normally require that they trend upward, trend downwards, or stay constant. If you are counting customer complaints, should it trend upward or downward? It should trend downward, isn't it? It should reduce it, exactly. If you were counting number of commendations from customers, should it trend downward or go up? If you were trying to if you were measuring the voltage supplied from the electrical system, should it go up, come down, or stay stagnant?
No.
It should stay constant, yes. Voltage should remain constant. The less variation you have in voltage, the safer your equipment, isn't it? Now, so whatever you are measuring has this or that. If you are doing this well for what should be doing this, it's an achievement. Isn't it? If you are doing this well for what should be doing this, it's an achievement. If you are doing this well for what should be doing this, it's an achievement. That's how you know how to pick out your achievements to put in your CV.
I'll sit down, I'll get a whole house full of these things.
Yes, you need to capture it very well.
Not even taking time to...
You need to capture it very well, because when you put job descriptions in your CV, it tells the person you are communicating to that you are one of those that used to mark time. Some people will say, I'm a receptionist. What achievements can a receptionist have?
So I thought all this were being meant for cover letters.
Cover letters?
Yes.
No, your CV speaks for you. In fact, your cover letter is how will I describe the difference between a cover letter and a CV? It's like your introductory pitch, right? We simply says, read my CV, you'll be impressed. The information that you have in your CV, you cannot put them in a 2-paragraph cover letter, can you? There's no way you can put your achievements of every role. You work in 3 places, and you have 5 achievements in each of those. But you put them in your cover letter. A cover letter will simply say, I'm very dedicated, right? Then when the person will put your CV, the person will be looking for how dedicated you are by looking at what you actually achieved to show that you are dedicated. Some people will put things like, oh, I'm very punctual. Okay, fine, if that's an achievement.
Okay, so I want to ask you, I've been finding it hard integrating
these achievements into
this training into my CV.
Into your CV?
Yes.
So in terms of how to describe it?
The only, I'm trying to look at the very best place to put it. So I'm doing online professional training. But I actually want to find a way of expositing to people, to the reader, what I've actually been trained about.
Yes, what you've actually been trained about.
I don't actually know where and how.
Maybe educational qualification or training.
You have a place where you have put your educational qualification.
Yes.
No, it's not a qualification. Does it include, did you list training there?
training under the...
Under professional educational qualification.
No.
You put only your degree there.
Yes.
Only your degree there.
Yes.
Then where do you now have your training?
The training.
Yeah.
Professional, I have professional qualification differently from...
Education.
Yes.
There's no need to separate those two.
Okay.
There's no need to separate those two.
So there's no need to target professional qualification separately.
And education, no. You can have only professional qualification, right? And have your education and have your professional training in the same section.
Okay, so that means under each of it now I can have what I was trained about.
Oh yes, yes. You can just put there graduated from Mechanical Engineering University of so and so. No. You will indicate degree in so and so this year to this year. Learned how to, right? This was a member of so and so society. Deliver so and so projects under that education. The same way your mastercraft diploma, the facility management mastercraft diploma, right? This period to this period, learned these skills, accomplished these projects. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because we used to use one line item to write off our degrees, because most degrees are writable off. You can actually write off most degrees in Nigeria right now, right? But if you want to tell the employer that that degree or that professional qualification actually brought something to you that you are bringing on board, you must highlight it. If I see mechanical engineer in your CV, it means nothing. It means nothing. If I say mechanical engineer, it means nothing. But if you now know that I am a manufacturer, right, and you have something in your training, you learned about coiling of motors, you learned about different things, copper and this, you pick some relevant knowledge and skills you acquired that is relevant to the job you are applying to me for. That's why you can have one CV.
So there can be static CV.
No!
So you must move with time.
You can't have one CV. I had an average of 10 CV that we are bringing on board.
Now, sir, there is something I want to ask regarding this education.
Yeah.
Now, you are writing a CV for, let's say, a facility management job.
Yes.
But in your first degree, you actually didn't have maybe background in facility management.
Yes. Nobody did. We don't have any degree in facility management in Nigeria.
But, and it's not somehow related, even though all other business actually related.
There is no degree that does not have something related to facility management. Even accounting, even sciences, even medicine.